Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. And so I guess just a heads up, recording this on Friday, we are playing Montreal in Nashville Sunday night. Saturday night, the Canadiens, the Habitants, the Habs, have a game at home versus Philadelphia. And when I was doing the background on this game and looking at the number of back-to-backs that Montreal has, they've got a large number of back-to-backs where they're playing at home and then they have to go play in the U.S. Or vice versa. So it kind of... I don't know. I think that's kind of rude, frankly. But it's a schedule. Montreal is currently in a playoff position, so it hasn't hurt them that bad to do this. Yeah, they are currently in the second wild card spot. They are 5 points behind Ottawa. Both of those teams are in whatever division they're in. I can't remember that. Atlantic. I was going to guess, but I didn't want to guess. I could have looked at the standings, I guess. So, yeah, so they are, Ottawa is in the first wildcard spot. Montreal is in the second. Both of those are in the Atlantic. So currently the Atlantic has 5 teams that would be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today. Toronto is the only team that has clinched. Interestingly enough, in the East, no team has been eliminated. Another team eliminated from the playoffs yesterday was Anaheim. So there are 5 teams all in the West that have been eliminated. Anaheim has more points than some of the other teams that have not been eliminated. But I guess with the wild card race being a little more, little tighter. Ottawa is 6 points behind Florida with 7 games to go. So most likely, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Florida will be the divisional seeds from the Atlantic. It's just a question of what order. Currently, Toronto does have a 3-point lead over Tampa Bay because they've won 3 in a row. Looks like Tampa Bay's lost 1 and Florida has lost 3 in a row, which is notable. Minnesota has also lost 3 in a row. It's the wrong time of the season to be doing that. On the other side of that, Dallas, with the win against Nashville, now has a 7-game winning streak. St. Louis, a whopping 11-game winning streak, which might be the longest this season. I think I did not think to look that up. Looked up earlier, I think, when the Capitals had a 10-game. I think the Capitals had a 10-game winning streak, and it was the longest of the season at that point in time. So, no, it'd be easy to look up, but I'm not going to do that now. Colorado also has clinched. So we have 7 teams that have clinched playoff spots and 5 that have been eliminated. 3 teams in the East have clinched. That would be Toronto, Washington, and Carolina. The Metropolitan 3 teams is set, and I believe the order is set as well. Washington, Carolina, and New Jersey in that order. There's a decent gap, 9 points between all of them. 9 points between Washington and Carolina, 9 points between Carolina and New Jersey, and then New Jersey 87 is 8 points ahead of the Rangers. With Carolina has the most games left, 8, but New Jersey 6 and the other 7. So 7 games, 9 points, 8 points, whatever it is. looking pretty set. So so that part of it is set, and then Ottawa, 86 points, has a 7-point lead on the Rangers, who are not in a playoff position. So they've got a 7-point lead, 7 games left for both teams. So they definitely control their fate. Montreal also controls their fate. They have a 2-point lead on the Rangers. And even in the number of both teams have 7 games left. Columbus is 2 points behind the Rangers with a game in hand. So they could also be part of the picture. Detroit, 75 points, so they are 6 points out with 8 games to go. So it's getting close to sticking a fork in them. And then the Islanders are 1 point back from that. Then you get to Pittsburgh, 72 points. They're 9 points out with 6 games left. So I think that's about it. The Rangers, Blue Jackets, and those are the 2 teams I think that could potentially take the spot, the wild card 2 spot away from Montreal, but they have to win to get it, and Montreal will have to falter. And then in the West, the Central, all 3 divisional teams have clinched a playoff spot. Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado should be. Colorado's definitely third. Dallas is 4 points behind Winnipeg. They've got a game in hand and 7 games left. They've got their 7-game winning streak. It's possible. Winnipeg is still leading Washington by 1, but Washington has a game in hand for the President's Cup. So it's still, the top spot in the league is still up for 108. Oh, no, 108 to 105. So, Winnipeg has a 3-point lead on Washington. Washington has 1 game in hand. So the President's Trophy is still somewhat contested and could be contested by Dallas, Winnipeg, and Washington. So that's kind of exciting. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, then in the wild card spots, the Blues are now with their 11-game winning streak now in the first wild card position. They're 2 points ahead of Minnesota, who has a game in hand. Minnesota does have the tiebreak of 3 more regulation wins. So if Minnesota wins their next game and is tied with St. Louis, they'll swap spots. Then next up is Calgary. Interesting. So those 2 wildcard teams also coming out of the Central. Calgary has a chance. They are 5 points behind Minnesota with a game in hand. So they're 5 points behind with 7 games left. They've got a chance. Then you get to Vancouver, who is 8 points out with 7 games left. So that math is not looking good for them. And then even less so for Utah. Utah was 6 points ahead of Anaheim, so the bottom 5 teams in the West are all out, and Utah is the next one. They're 80 points, so they're 9 points out with 6 games left. So it's Minnesota has lost 3 in a row. And then Vancouver's lost 3 in a row. So it's not looking like there's going to be an opportunity for Utah, Vancouver, Calgary. Do I care whether Calgary goes in or Minnesota? Not really. Minnesota or St. Louis? Not really. I guess if I wanted to go to a hockey game, I guess St. Louis isn't that far from Nashville, so. If St. Louis wound up playing L.A. at some point, maybe that would be fun to go to. I think if you're listening to this for any particular length of time, one of my favorite experiences with hockey, going to a hockey game, was in St. Louis. Back then, I was just an average just a hockey fan, traveling a lot, would go to hockey games as just kind of the thing I would do when I traveled, to have something to do. And, minor league, major league, whatever, gives you something to do. I'd go get the best seat that was left at the end of a row or on an aisle. And, so I think we were 14 rows off the ice in the corner. The lady sitting next to me had a pair of binoculars, which she pulled out when there was a fight. Yeah, she really liked the fighting, would pull out I think one fight was like right in front of us. I think St. Louis was playing Chicago, something like that. It was a big rivalry, and just an amazing game. The fans were so into it. It was just very exciting to be in the building. One of my favorite memories of going to a hockey game. My favorite one has to be Game 6 of the Stanley Cup, watching the Kings clinch and win in 2012. But the St. Louis game, definitely so. If I had to go to St. Louis to watch a game, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Love to go up to Calgary sometime. And see a game, and I guess maybe it might actually start to be warm there. But anyway, that's what's going on in the playoffs. Nothing new on the transaction watch for Nashville. They did call up Ozzy Weisblatt. Yesterday. He played last night, so that's different. He had been an unrestricted free agent. I think that's right. I think he signed a 2-year contract in the middle of the season. Nothing new on any of those fronts.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
For tonight. Yeah, well, I guess I'm going to release this on Sunday, so I guess it will be tonight. Sunday night's game. Our opponent is Montreal. As I said, recording this ahead of time, and they play in Montreal on Saturday night versus Philadelphia. The third time they meet Philadelphia in a back-to-back situation. So the popular team for them to play. I don't think Philadelphia was in a back-to-back in those, but Montreal sure was 3 times now after Saturday night. This is some of my numbers will be a little bit off, but this is the last game of 2 versus Montreal for Nashville this season. Nashville is 0-1 against them, so Montreal is 1-0. Montreal won 3-0 in Montreal. And last year they split. Nashville won 2-1 in Montreal, and then Montreal won 4-3 in overtime in Nashville. So hopefully the Preds will get the win and even up that series again this year. Let's see. After Thursday night's game, Montreal is 36-30-9. They are 16-18-4 on the road, so they have a losing record on the road, even though they're in a playoff position. I think, but they're not the worst. It's not the worst road record, apparently, unless this. Let's see. Let's take a quick look. 15. Okay, so the Kings did win one, and so that takes them to 15, 19-5, the worst road record for any team in a playoff position. And so Montreal is right behind that at 16-18-4. They are 5th in the Atlantic with 81 points. They are 5 points behind Ottawa, even on games played, and 6 points ahead of Detroit, who has played one less. Currently they are in the wild card 2 spots, 2 points ahead of New York Rangers, even on games played and games left, which is the more important number right now. For Montreal, this is the only game on the road trip, so they had 3 at home, and then they come down to Nashville, and then they go back home for another game, and then they do whatever is in their schedule. They're coming down from Montreal to Nashville for Sunday night's game. And then they go home for 1, Detroit, and they play 2 in Canada against 2 Canadian teams, and then they finish up the season playing at they go on the road to Ottawa and Detroit, and then they finish the season with 2 at home, Chicago and Carolina. So that game could matter with regards to the playoff spots. Carolina shouldn't be affecting where Carolina finishes, but it could affect Montreal, and then they have to play Toronto, and Toronto is in a battle for that first spot. So a couple big games for them coming up. The game here in Nashville will be the first time that Alexander Conrier returns back in December 18th. The Preds and Montreal had a trade, defenseman Alexander Carrier for defenseman Justin Barron. Return to Nashville for Carrier. And I guess I could take a real quick look at this, but I think he was in Nashville for quite a while. If I've got this right, only been here for 4.5 years, but I think he's been here all that time. Another one of those things I really, to kind of recognize this at the end. 1, 2. Stop jumping around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full seasons, or 6, not full. 6 seasons with Nashville, 2 games, 3 games, 19 games, 77, 43, 73, hut. So 2 full seasons and a couple of partials. But a long time with Nashville and now with Montreal. So he'll be returning to Nashville for the first time. For the Canadiens, I thought I was wrong. I was wrong. The Canadiens, the Habs, they did not make any trades at the deadline. At the time, they were 5th in the Atlantic behind Columbus, New York Rangers, and Ottawa for wild card spots. I did, in my projection that I did at the after the trade deadline, I did have them as the wild card 1 team. So I did think they would be getting in based upon all the stuff. However, I did the calculations. Player update for Montreal. Not listed, but Carey Price, 37, goaltender. He had a knee injury and back in September, said he was never going to play hockey again. He's still listed on the Canadiens under Puckpedia. They've got him listed as a cap hit. $10.5 million this year and next year. It's a lot of money for somebody who's not playing. But he won't be a factor, again, the game versus Nashville. Number 49, left wing Raphael Harvey-Pinard, out as of the 19th of March, not expected back until 4:30. So I don't know why they picked that date. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, 4:30. He seems to have been plagued by injuries. He's only played one game this year. And then I had to note this, but the way it was all stated was kind of funny. Number 91, center Oliver Kapanen has rejoined Montreal. He had been loaned back in November to the Swedish Hockey League team Timrå IK. That's how it says, Timrå. Timrå is how you're supposed to say that. Idrottsklub. Idrottsklub? Oh, club. Well, that makes it, now they say it. Idrottsklub, sports club. So I guess he had been playing over in Sweden, and now he's back with Montreal. So there you go. That's fun. For the Nashville Predators, let's see, we'll just take another loss from the Dallas game in here. The Preds are 27-41-8. At home, they have a winning record. They still have a winning record. Can we just hold on to it? Can we hold on to it through the end of the season? I really would like to get that 10th win on the road. They got two more road games, counting the game with Montreal. There are four more home games. So with a two win lead at home, they're going to need to win a couple of those to keep a winning record. Let's keep a winning record at home for this season. I'd really like that. And then they need to either beat Utah or Vegas. I'd beat Vegas. If you're going to beat a team, beat Vegas. That the two opportunities to get to 10 wins, so double-digit wins on the road. But yeah, let's hold on to the winning record. I guess if they win one, then if they lost the other three, they would be 19-19. I guess if one of them was an overtime loss, they'd be 19-18-4. So that would still count technically as a winning record. Which would be fine with me. So I guess really they only need to win one and push one to overtime of the last four home games. That's what we've got. We got Montreal, then Tuesday the Islanders come in, and then we go on the road to Utah, Vegas, and then come back and play Utah again, and then Dallas. Maybe we just sweep Utah here at the end of the season. Beat Utah at home. Home and home, but beat them in Utah to get that 10th win, and then beat them here to stay a winning record at home. That would be great. The Preds are 7th in the Central Division, as they have been for ad nauseum. 10 ahead of Chicago, who's played one less, and 18 behind Utah, even. Third worst record in the NHL, 7 points behind Boston, and even on number of games left. So what is that? That's six games left for both teams, and 7. So yep, there you go. That's where the Preds are going to finish. They will finish with the third worst record in the league. San Jose and Chicago are now tied a number of games left, 7 left. Chicago has 2 more points than San Jose and owns the first tiebreaker. So the Sharks would have to get 3 more points between now and the end of the season for Chicago to finish last. But right now it would be San Jose, then Chicago, and then it's going to be those two teams, either whichever order, and then Nashville. For the Preds, this game against Montreal is the start of a 2-game homestand. Tuesday, the Islanders come to town. Player updates. Defenseman Spencer Stastny is now injured. He's day-to-day, expected back for the game, but we'll see. He's had 22 games this season. He's been playing pretty good as of late. Big, lots of talk about him at the beginning of the season. Spent most of the time at Milwaukee, but is now playing with the big club. Notre Dame grad? Went to Notre Dame, not sure if he graduated. So he's currently my wife's favorite player for the Preds. And Marcia Schalt is still out. Also expected, could be back for the game. Colton Sissons won't be back for the game, might be back for the Islander game. And then Yossi won't be back until we meet Dallas, maybe not even then. As I said, the other transaction was that number 89, center Ozzy Weisblatt, was recalled from Milwaukee. I think if there was any reason to recall him is that he was one of the 4 players that have a positive plus minus, and we can just totally make sure that gets eliminated by having him play. But I think that's good. The Preds get 4 transfers after the trade deadline, and I believe this is the first one. So, bringing some of the players up and having them play with the big club for a few games here at the end of the season is a great way to try it out. The Preds have nowhere to go in the standings, so I wouldn't say the games don't matter. But if you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, is when they brought down Evangelista and his crew from Milwaukee, brought down 3 guys and had them play together, and the Preds made a run. Pretty much had given up on the playoffs and brought those 3 guys down, let them play the way they were used to playing, and the Preds made a run. So it does, just because you bring people up doesn't mean that you've given up. It doesn't even mean you're going to lose. So, yeah.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, enough of that. Let's look at some statistics. These are a little bit more interesting because the Preds have a winning record at home. Yay, we get to talk about home records. On that note, the Dallas game, spit me in the face, or spit me in the what? Anyway, I made the comment leading up to the Dallas game that I didn't think the first goal in the second period trends would be negated because there weren't enough games left. And then what do? The Preds got the first goal in the second period and lost the game for the first time this year. But that's okay. That means that they have 2 opportunities to swap the other one too, which is if on the road, if the opposition gets the first goal in the second period, the Preds are 0-7, so they can get a win now that they've lost after getting the first goal in the second period. But that's a road statistic, not something we're talking about, but I had to call that out. I've felt horrible for having mentioned that. As far as, speaking of the first goal being scored, at home, the Preds are 10-7-3. That's another winning record, people, when they get the first goal. So it's kind of a coin flip on whether or not they're going to win, 10-10, 3 overtime losses, but definitely a trend that says that they are more likely to win in regulation than lose in regulation. And if the opposing team gets the first goal, they're 8-9. So pretty close. It's not really a determinant this season. Actually, if it happens in the second period, the Preds have a winning record there. They're 3-2. The Preds getting the first goal in the second period, they're 0-2 now. and but 3-2 if the opponents do. So I guess if you look at it from the standpoint, if the Preds get the first goal in the first period, they're 10, 5, and 3. So twice as likely to win in regulation as to lose in regulation. Yeah, I like that. And let's look at their records in the different periods. If any of you new and don't know what I'm talking about, if you just consider that period in and of itself, did the Preds score more than the other team, score less, or tie, and just what happened in that period. So the Preds in the first period at home are 17, 8, and 12. 17, 8, and 12, a winning record. The only period that they have a winning record, they are 11, 17, and 9. Almost the same numbers, 11, 17, and 9 in the second, and 14, 17, and 6 in the third. So not the best records at all, but the question is, how does that translate? And so it translates pretty good. If the 17 times the Preds have won at home, they are 11 and 6, so almost twice as likely to win the game if they win the first period as to lose it. When they lose the first period, they're 2 and 6, and if they tie it, they're 5 and 7. So almost a coin flip on the tie, 3-1 that they lose the game if they lose the first period. In the second period, 11 times they've won the second period, so they're 10 and 1, and that's another really good stat. 4 and 13 if they lose the second period, and then 4 and 5 if they tie it, which is, again, something of a coin flip. And then winning the third period, they're 13 and 1, 2 and 15 if they don't, and 3 and 3 if they tie it. Taking out the empty nets, it becomes 9 and 1 if they win the third period, 3 and 11 if they lose, and 6 and 7 if they tie. So, kind of a coin flip on the ties there. Again, looking how all these things move together. If they win the first and win the second, that's happened 5 times, and they're 5-0 in that situation. Winning the first, losing the second, 8 times, 3, 3, and 2. So pretty much a coin flip on any of the results. And win the first, tie the second, and they are 3-0-1 in that circumstance. So winning the first looks pretty good. Losing the first, winning the second 3 times, they're 2-1, so at least that's a winning record. Lose the first, lose the second, 0-3-0. Rule of thumb, if you win 2 periods, you're going to win the game. If you lose 2 periods, you can lose the game. When the Preds have lost the first and tied the second, they are 0-2-0. So none of that. I guess losing and winning is not too bad. Tie the first, win the second. They are 3-0-0, so that's good. Tie the first, lose the second. They are 1-5-0, not so hot. Tie the first, tie the second. They are 1-2-0, so it doesn't exactly engender a lot of confidence. So that that kind of pushes you towards winning the second. Definitely looks good if they winning the second. What's that? 10 and 1, and regardless of how they come in. So that's pretty good. Losing the second, they're 4-11-2. So definitely looking at the scenario where winning the second is pretty important, and that's not real surprising there. As far as no, that's goal scoring. We're not to goal scoring yet, are we? Winning by period result. No, don't go just because it's in the graph. Don't go to that. No. Next up, when is the winning goal being scored? That's the next thing on the agenda. Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Here in Nashville, 32% of the time, the winning goal is being scored in the third period, 27% in the second, so 10 to 12. So it's pretty close, and then 8 in the first. That's funny, all even numbers. 6 in overtime, 8 in first, 10 in the second, 12 in the third. Once in a shootout, so, there's your odd number there. For the Preds, it's pretty evenly spread, 4 times in the first and second, 6 in the third, so 33% of the time they win. When they win, they get the winning goal in the third period. For the opposition, evenly split between the second and the third, 32%, 6 times for both, 4 times in the first, 3 in overtime. So that's pretty even. Looking pretty even. Kind of hard to make a call on that. 22% of the time in the first period. So not a lot of time. A lot of times it could still happen in the first period. On the interesting stat front, the 0% last season on the road, when the opponents won 0% of the time, they got the winning goal in the first period, and that actually was a 0. 17% of the time, the Preds got the winning goal in the first period when they were on the road, but 0 for the opposition. Really, I like the zeros show up. I kind of get interested. But this year at home, fairly even. Yeah. All right, now we can talk about goal scoring. Not really my favorite thing to talk about. Let's see. We are talking about at home. The Preds are outscoring the opposition in the first period by 8 goals. They are being outscored by 9 in the second and by 6 in the third. Even taking out the empty net goals, the Preds have more empty net goals than the opponents here in Nashville, so that becomes 8. They're being outscored by 8 in the third period without counting empty net goals. The only period that they are actually outscoring is the first. If they lose the game, they are currently 16-16. So they're even in goals scored in games in which they lose. And being outscored tremendously in the second and third. So when they lose the game, they're being outscored by 18, almost 3 times, 28-10, and then by 5 times in the third, 31-6. 31-6. Wow. When the Preds win, they're outscoring the opponents 29-10 in the third. So that's the third period scoring is really heavily weighted towards the winning team. Wow. When the Preds win, they are outscoring 22-13 in the second, 29-10. Again, when they lose, it's even 16 each in the first, 10-28, 6-31. So the big difference is the third period scoring. It's huge towards the team that wins. Wow. I'd like to have that number. I just have the per. I'm not going to do this in my head. Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I've said I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do math in my head while I'm talking. All right, fine. So there's 39 games. 39 games, and Anyway, that was the wrong number. That was the away number, not the home number. Anyway, let's move on. The goal scoring and the different scenarios, right? So one thing I started trying to track was entering the second, entering the third period when the Preds are winning, tied, and losing. And the Preds are they're being outscored in the second period when they come into the second period winning by 7, 11-18. If they come into the second period tied, they're being outscored 14-17. If they come into the second period losing, that is they're outscoring 7-6. So that's one goal there. In the third period, if they come into the third period winning, they are outscoring the opponents 18-12. But if you take out the 8 empty net goals, they are being outscored 12-10. If they come into the third period tied, they're being outscored 5-10. And if they come into the third period losing, that's 12-19. Interesting, the opponents have 6 empty net goals in the third period. In that situation, the Preds have 1. So they've entered the third period losing and have turned the game around and wound up getting an empty net goal. So that's kind of exciting. But yeah, so most circumstances, the Preds are being outscored in the second and the third period. That's... they have a winning record, though. They have a winning record, I guess, based upon the fact that they are outscoring the other team in the first period. That would be an interesting stat. Games that they win. Do I have that? And games that they win, how often do they score in the first period? That would be really interesting now that I'm thinking about it, and I'll forget. So, special teams. The Preds here in Nashville are pretty good on special teams in all 3 periods now. They pulled up in the second, but they are scoring at home and on the power play 30% of the time, 10 goals on 33 opportunities. That's pretty good. The opponents, not so good. 3 goals on 29 opportunities. That was 0 until I started tracking it and talking about it. The second period is a little bit more anemic. 9 goals scored on 43 opportunities, so 1 less than the first on 10 additional. And then, so that's 21%, and then 24 in the third, 6 goals on 25. So that's definitely better. They have 6 more power play goals here in Nashville than the opponents on 6 less opportunities. So the opponents have had 19 goals on 107 opportunities to the 25 goals for 101 opportunities. So that's overall pretty good. The opponents are getting 23% in the third period. It kind of goes up first, second to third, only 10% in the first, 17% in the second. They have more opportunities in the second, and then 23% in the third. So that at least is encouraging. Gotta like that.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Well, let's move on to the comparisons. So we are playing Montreal. Now, again, these numbers will not include Saturday night's game with Philadelphia, but will give you a flair for where they're at. Interesting. I haven't done this analysis in a while, but when I did do it a couple of months ago, the teams that had more goals for than goals against were all in playoff positions. That is not the case for Montreal. They have scored 225 goals and given up 246. Now, so the interesting thing here is to remember Montreal is currently in a wild card position. They are in the driver's seat to make it. they have given up just 4 goals less than the Preds. So, so that's an important thing to remember because, we can look at how many goals they're giving up and say, well, that looks bad, and it does. The Preds are 8th in the league, so Montreal and Nashville are 8th and 9th in the league in giving up goals. But as we've said a couple of times, just because you any one particular stat does not define the season. So it is possible to overcome that, and that's by winning the games. So anyway, so Montreal has scored 225 goals. That puts them 17th in the league, which is below it's in the bottom half, and yet they are in a playoff position. So they are, and it's pretty even. Their scoring is pretty even. They're 16th in the first and 15th in the second and 14th in the third. So they're 17th overall, 17, 16, 15, and 14. That's funny. The Preds are 32nd in the league in scoring for, which is why they are where they're at. It's kind of funny that there are 2 teams below them. But last in the league in scoring. Montreal pretty even, 64 in the first, 75 in the second, 78 in the third. So just a little bit of a bump between the second and third periods. And I'd still call that pretty even. 11 more goals in the second than the first over, the 70-some games. It's pretty even. We do see some teams that it's wildly different. As far as giving up goals, also pretty even all the way across, 77 in the first, 81 in the second, and 82 in the third. So the 77 in the first puts them third in the league in goals against, giving up goals. So that's pretty significant. The Preds are 5th in the league in giving up goals in the second period, giving up 10 more than Montreal, so 91, and then giving up 64 in the first, though, which is 17th in the league. But definitely will take that number. So Montreal pretty even about scoring in all the different periods, and then pretty even on giving up goals all across the different periods. So take your pick. Pick your period, score your goals. In the power play, penalty kill, special team situations here. Nashville and Montreal pretty even. In the penalty kill, Nashville's 12th and Montreal is 13th. Montreal has 46 goals against on 235 opportunities. Nashville has 43 on 225. So Nashville has given up 3 less on 10 more. When it comes to the power play, 17th and 20th. Montreal is 17th. The Preds are 20th. Montreal has scored 46 goals on 218 opportunities, and the Preds 44 on 210. So the Preds have given up or have scored 2 less on 8 less opportunities. So pretty even. Pretty even across the board there on how they play. Okay, so the goaltenders. Let's move on to goaltenders here. Montreal has primarily been playing one guy. There's 2 other people who have been the backup this season, but this one guy, Sam Montembeault. I think that's going to be right. In French, you tend not to pronounce consonants unless they're followed by a vowel. In general rule of thumb, he's kind of like he's played like 57 of the games. So he's 28, 23, and 6. And he said he gets most of the starts. Jakob Dobes, who is the backup now at this point in time in the season, is 6-4 and 2. At the beginning of the season, Caden Primo, 2-3 and 1, was the backup, and so they kind of I don't know, the up and down to the AHL team. Couldn't really get a sense of what it is. Didn't look like either of them got injured. It was just like they have been trying out these two guys. And just, so Sam Montembeault has been just primarily playing most of the year. Yeah, interesting because I think he's making $3 million a year, and Carey Price is making $10 and not playing. So this year, earlier this season, Montembeault was in goal when we played. That was a 3-0 win for Montreal in Montreal. And then last year, they had a different goaltender. Allen was in goal for both of those, so he was 1-1. Montembeault has played in the last 4 games leading up to this weekend, where they do have the back-to-back. And it's the third time they have faced Philadelphia in a back-to-back situation. And they do have that here. Yep, there's that. And in those games with Philadelphia, Dobes played in one and Primo played in the other. So Primo played in the first one, and that was a win. And Dobbs played in the last one, which was actually at the end of March. They just played a back-to-back at Philadelphia, at Carolina, lost both of those games, and now they're playing Philadelphia again at the front end of the back-to-back. The first time they played, it was the back end of the back-to-back. So it's hard to say. Montembeault has played both games of a back-to-back this season, but in the last couple, Dobes, and I could be saying that one wrong, has played in the last 2. The home back-to-back was both Montembeault, but on the road, the other 3, Dobes, well, that one was a home-to-home and Dobes play. So I believe Dobes is going to play in one of these. Since Montembeault has played in the last 4, I'm guessing he's going to go up against Philadelphia. And that way, they'll all have gotten the chance to play in goal against Philadelphia. Why not? And so then Dobes will be in goal versus Nashville. For Nashville, it's a little easier to figure out. So UC Saros, 18-29-6. Most of the season playing about 2-ish for one of Justice Annanen's, 8-10-1. Believe it looks more like they are going to be alternating. As far as I can tell, Annanen has gotten a couple of starts. He got 2 in a row. Annanen was in goal versus Montreal earlier this season. That was that 0-3 loss in Montreal. Last year, Saros was in goal for both games against Montreal, so he was 1-1. And then Annunen did play. He was with Colorado last year and did play in the second game against Montreal, which was a 1-2 loss. I believe, Annunen was in goal versus Dallas on Thursday, so it's I think it's pretty sure we're going to see Saros in goal versus Montreal.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
As far as players to watch, I'd say the main guy is number 14, Nick Suzuki, center Nick Suzuki. He's second in goals, second in assists, so he's first in points, first in plus minus at 14. He's on the ice the most of any forward at 1955. He's second in shots at 158. Now, the other guy is number 13, so we got 13 and 14. That ought to be easy to remember. Right wing Cole Caulfield. He is first in goals, and he's second in points. First in goals with 35, second in points with 65. And then he's first in shots with 220. First in assists is defenseman Lane Hudson. He's second in time on ice. First on time on ice is defenseman Mike Matheson. And so that's really kind of the only criteria that I see on those two guys. So I think it's pretty easy. Caulfield and Suzuki, 13 and 14. Most likely they play on the same line. So there you go. For Nashville, any player with a 9 or divisible by 9, but don't have to worry about doing the math because Marchessault is injured unless he's back. 81. Number 9, Philip Forsberg, first in just about everything, 29 goals, 40 assists, 69 points. First in shots, 267. So then you've got Stamkos, who's second now in goal scoring, taken over from Marchessault and then kind of pulling away since Marchessault's been injured. 24 goals, but he's fifth in assists, so he's third in points. He's last on the team in the plus-minus at negative 31. And the forward that's on the ice the most is Ryan O'Reilly, number 90, Ryan O'Reilly. Stamkos, 91, Forsberg, 9. I forgot to mention that. But Ryan O'Reilly, across the board, pretty much fourth in goals, fourth in assists, third in points. That's a little different. Fourth worst, plus-minus, and fourth in time on ice. The person with most time on ice is going to be your defenseman, not divisible by 9, Brady Skay. Brady Skay, number 76. But he's second in time on ice at 21:48, but Yossi's out. Yossi 25:01. So a big jump between those two numbers. But with Yossi out, Skay is picking up more of the ice time. As I said, Blankenberg does lead the team in plus minus with 6. The 4 players that are above have positive plus minuses. Willsby is out. Kevin Gravel is playing in the AHL, and they did call up Weisblatt, who was at 2 and is now at 1. So that's your players to watch for Nashville. Momentum. Montreal is on a 3-game winning streak coming into their game at home versus Philadelphia. Before that, they did have a 5-game losing streak, so looking really streaky, which if you the right kind of streak at this time of the year would be a good thing. They do control their own fate for the second wild card position, so they are going to be heavily motivated. They are 5-3-2 in their last 10. If we want to take a second and look at their back-to-back records, they are 13-13 overall. On the road, they are 9-8. On the road, in the back end of the back-to-back, they are 4-5. Montembolt is 1-1 in those circumstances. But like I said, I think Dobbs, who's 1-2 in the back end of back-to-back, will be in goal. They did lose both of the games in their last back-to-back, Philadelphia and Carolina. But those were both of those were away. This one is a home and away series. And home and away. They haven't done a home and away in that order since November. They did both of those games did go to overtime. They lost the first one to Utah and then one to Columbus. They did have a back-to-back in January where they were away and then went home, and they won the away game and lost the home game. Which is what they did in that other one. Home and away, win, lose. The away and home, they did win those two. Away and home, win, lose, home and away. But, hard to say. I think Dobes has been in goal for the last, for one of the games, and the last two. Montreal did when they had the back-to-back 8th and 9th of February going into the Four Nation break. Montreal did play both of those games. So I think primarily because, they were going to have that big break afterwards. But anyway, so take what you want from that. I think that's Montreal to Nashville. So what time are the games? Let's take a quick look at that. Because this just feels a little rude. They play at 6:00 in Montreal on Saturday night, and then Central Time, and then have a 6:00 game in Nashville on Sunday. So both games start at the same time, and they've got to travel from Montreal to Nashville. That doesn't look very fair. But it's a schedule. As far as Nashville goes, Nashville is on a 5-game losing streak, and they are 2-8-0 in their last 10. So there you have it. The Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, are coming to Nashville for a home game for Nashville. Nashville will be the home team. Usually works out that way. So we will see. Going to be at that game. So it's Sunday night. I guess it is a school night. But hopefully we can make it there for the whole game. Or maybe the Preds just light it up in the first and second, have a big lead, and then I can get my teacher wife home in bed early so she can get up the next morning and teach calculus and be awake doing it. That would be good. Anyway, so, hey, thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor. You've been listening to Predators Proclivity.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.